This is Crash Course Episode 2, yet another opportunity for you to benefit from my hardships. Today, I want to talk about the most dangerous thing on the track and the road, depending on conditions. In my opinion, it's not the pavement, it's not the turn, it's not the tree or the wall that you might hit. It's egos, both yours and theirs. I'm Gogo for SuperDuke.com. Let's get into how dangerous they can be. Crashes are scary. They're scary to experience and they're scary to come back from, especially if you don't understand what happened. And I did not understand what happened in this crash, not during it and not after it, because I didn't put a wheel wrong. I didn't make a mistake. And I got hurt. The bike got wrecked and my mind was twisted. So I took a long time afterwards considering what happened leading up to this, what happened during it, and what happened after it. And I've come up with one reason that I crashed: ego. Here's the story. It's 2022, I'm at Laguna Seca on a Ducati, Ford Ducati, at a special Ducati Revs track day. I'm instructing on a hypermotard. Why a hypermotard? Because it's the closest thing I could find to my favorite motorcycle. My first laps out, I hate the bike. I hate the bike because it's not my Super Duke, and I don't feel confident in the front end like I do on my Super Duke. I can't get the turn. I'm scared going through turns. It's a mess. But I'm also teaching, so I'm going a little bit slower. So I figured maybe I'll take this opportunity to learn some things about the bike. Learn what can I do different with my body to make the bike work better. And 3 sessions, and I'm feeling much better on the bike. By the afternoon, I'm flying on the bike. And by late afternoon, instructing is over. It's an open track. You're kind of like, okay, go have fun, guys. You did a good job. So I'm out there flying around in one of the last sessions, and I hook up with Wyatt Ferris. Wyatt Ferris is a super fast guy in Northeast road racing. He's won Formula Pacific a bunch of times. Super fast. He's done AMA stuff. Good guy too, we're friends. So we're battling out there and we come up on 2 lapped riders approaching turn 11 at Laguna Seca. This is a heavy braking zone and we're on the pipe. So here we coming up to these guys, and we're in a good rhythm. A rhythm, it's kind of a weird thing to say, but a rhythm is like, imagine if you're listening to music and you're dancing or something and someone all of a sudden grabs the record and slows it down a little bit. Like your moves, your step, your this and that, all of a sudden, you got to slow down. So that's what happens on the racetrack, actually. You get a rhythm. You really do get in a rhythm. People talk about it in racing. It's a real thing. Even track days, it probably happens on the street too, like you pace. So we're in a rhythm and we come up on these slower riders and you got to break a rhythm, right? So one of the riders is on a Ducati, everybody on the track day was at Ducatis, right? So he's on like a Panigale or something. The guy behind him is on a hypermotard, just like me, but it's a race-prepped hypermotard. And full leathers and numbers and all this stuff. Apparently, just the day before, he had raced that bike in the Hooligans race, Motor Hooligans race, at Laguna. So he's up to speed. So in my eyes, you got a regular guy going into turn 11, a fully race-prepped, numbers, full leathers, the whole thing, right behind him. And then me and Wyatt. I'm figuring, I don't know the guy in the lead, but the race prep guy, he can take care of himself, okay? So we close the gap on the brakes. The lead guy heads in. The race guy goes underneath him. Like he's right at the apex, he's going underneath him, and he's gonna charge out underneath him. Well, I have this rhythm with me and Wyatt, and I also have speed to go underneath the racer dude. So I don't do anything at the apex, obviously, but after the apex, as people are driving out of the turn, I prepared for the turn really wide so I could head in for the apex and then exit really shallow. Like I'm not going wide on the exit where they are. I'm gonna go underneath them all, right? So the lead guy changes his line a little bit. He's not going that fast, I guess, and the slower you go, the more options you have of where you can be. So he kind of comes in a little bit on his exit. He doesn't exit that wide. Racer dude says, holy shit, I'm gonna hit this guy. So he veers to the left. Now I'm coming underneath racer dude and I have to also change I'll pull my shoulder in and whoa, do a little body English, and I accelerate out underneath him and go. No contact or anything. I'm gone. I don't see a clear track in front of me. It wasn't like it was a close call or anything. It was a little bit close, but it was a racer, right? So racers can take care of themselves. That's not a big thing. I wouldn't do something like that to a regular track day person. But off we go. All of a sudden, a bike rockets by me going under the bridge, over turn 1. So fast, obviously it's Wyatt. In my mind, it's Wyatt. He was on a Street Fighter, like with the V4R motor, fast bike, like this. So I charge down the hill, and I'm pretty good on the brakes, so I outbrake him. It turns out, I didn't learn this till later, but it wasn't Wyatt. It was Racer Dude. So even though I out-accelerated onto the straight, he was able to pass me back, just acceleration as we went up the hill. So his bike is potent, it's a fast bike. So I outbrake him for turn 2 by a long shot. Like I come from very far behind and I go very far in front. And I make the turn and it's totally clean, nowhere near him, everything's fine. I do turn 3, I do turn 4, everything's fine. Now I'm charging for turn 5. And there's a long straightaway between 4 and 5. I mean, it's not that long, but it's pretty long and you're just going straight. You get yourself to the right side of the track and you sit there and here comes the bridge. And you're full throttle. And what I do is I get my finger on the clutch and my foot just over the shifter and I'm full throttle. I'm waiting. And then as soon as I crack out of the throttle, clutch downshifts, 2 downshifts, and now you're heavy braking, right? So it's like all happens at the same time. We're up like this. I'm just about to do this, and all of a sudden, this motorcycle comes again with this head of steam, like similar to when I got passed in turn 1. But this time, he's like here. I'm riding, I'm approaching the bridge, I'm just about to get off, and this rider hits my elbow. So you hit my elbow and I turn the bars. You turn the bars in the wheel and the bike is gonna fall. So I fall like on the rider's shoulder and like tail section part of the bike. I mean, it's not like I have a recording device, but this is what it felt like that happened, right? So, but as soon as he had so much momentum on me that when he passed, the bike just righted itself. So I go into this wobble like this and recover. I don't fall off the bike. Somehow I'm still on the bike. I can't believe it. But I have a problem because now I'm past the bridge. And this normally I'd already be in the brakes, hard. You brake really hard because turn 5 is like a 90-degree left-hand turn. And the real problem instantly in my head is there's gravel and then there's a wall, right? So I got to get this bike stopped. I recover from the wiggles like this and I hit the brakes. No brakes. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but sometimes when you wiggle like this, the brake pads can get pushed out. So you won't have brakes right away. So I'm thinking my brake pads got pushed out. This is all in like this much time. So I'm pumping the brakes like this to stop. And I'm thinking, I have like 1 second to get this all under control and stopped before I'm going into crash mode. And all of a sudden it starts to rain. I don't understand what's happening here. But now it's raining and I don't have brakes. I don't have front brakes. So I go to drag the rear brake because God rest his soul. I used to be very good friends with Jimmy Adamo. I actually wrenched for Jimmy Adamo back in the day when he was racing AMA and Twins, and we went to Canada together, all this really cool stuff. But Jimmy died because he lost his brakes. His brake rotor exploded. He had carbon fiber on one side and cast iron on the other side, and it was too much for the cast iron, and it broke, and he went straight and hit a guardrail. He hit one guardrail, flew over the bars, and face first into the second barrier. So that's kind of traumatized me my whole life. Lost a good friend, and just when I was getting a little more serious about racing, so it's like, anyway, That's my first thought, is there's a wall that I'm gonna hit. And this is Jimmy. So I dragged the rear brake. I gotta stop. I dragged the rear brake. What I didn't realize is it hadn't just started raining. Moron who came across my not only line, but motorcycle and hit me so hard that his foot peg tore off my brake line, my front brakes. So when I pumped the brakes, brake fluid was flying in the air all over the place. My windscreen, my body, my boots, the whole bike had brake fluid all over it. And the rear tire. So as soon as I touched the rear brake to try to slow some speed before I got into the gravel and then hit this wall, as soon as I touched the brake, the bike hooked around and fell to the floor, which might be a blessing because I definitely slowed down at that point. So I hit the ground. I'm not sure whether I high-sided or low-sided. Honestly, I don't know what happened, but I know hit the brake, the rear spun around, I crashed, I tumble, and I don't hit the wall. Wyatt pulls over, parks his bike, runs over to me and says, "Dude, why did he do that?" And I say, "Dude, why did he do that?" And then we start piecing together what happened. I'm standing now, I can't put my weight on my ankle, but I'm standing and we look at the bike and there's no brake line. That's when I figured out that it wasn't raining actually, and this was brake fluid all over me. And you know, immediately there's a red flag. Ducati sends a van, picks me up. We go into the pits. All the Ducati people are there. And they say, "What happened?" And I say, "This is what happened." And they say, "Well, let's go talk to Dude." So we go over to Dude, the pits, with his hyper-motard race bike, full leathers, all this stuff. And his pit is empty. There's no tent. There's no bike. There's no truck, van, trailer. Gone. Disappeared. So obviously, Dude knows what he did. I mean, he didn't pull over. He's the one who hit me. He didn't pull over. Wyatt pulled over, but he didn't. He kept going and ran. So like I said, crashing is scary. And coming back from crashes can be even scarier when you don't understand what happened. So what happened here, and how can you benefit from my misfortune? I've done a little bit of background work to find out who this person was and what's their history. I didn't know him before this, and I don't want to know him now. But I do know a little bit about them now, and I'm using what I've learned to come up with this theory that I poked the bear. I touched the bad side of someone's ego by passing them, which is like, we're on a track. That's what happens. But this is what's tricky, and this is what's dangerous. People's egos. I know quite a few people who have had bad experiences at track days because I passed the guy and he came up on me inside and T-boned me and blew. Even Shiv, I talk about Shiv, he does the open flash tuning. He's got detached retinas and all this stuff from being smashed by someone that he passed earlier. So I think what it is people are a little fragile sometimes, right? We all want to be our best. And sometimes when our best is nowhere near as good as someone else, it's like we lost something. It's like, no, that can't happen. You gotta fight back because somehow, you know, you're less of a person if this person is faster than you. It's not true. We're all on different levels. We all need to respect each other. It's just, it is what it is. No matter who you are in the world, someone else is gonna be faster than you. Even if you're the fastest guy in MotoGP on Sunday, next Sunday, someone else is probably going to kick your ass. So there is no such thing as the fastest person in the world. Everybody has someone that's faster than them. Most people have a million people that are faster than them. Don't let that be so impactful to how you feel about yourself. And be careful and be conscious because some of the people that you come across, you might poke the bear too. Think of it like, and this is how I think of it now, like every rider you come up on is a bomb with a fuse just hanging out. And when you come close to somebody or you disrespect disrespect somebody by passing them. Maybe you outskill them. Maybe whatever, there's a million scenarios, right? You're lighting that fuse. And when that bomb goes off, you're gonna get blown up. Not them. You're gonna get blown up. So keep your distance. I suggest keep your distance. Don't come too close to the bombs. Even if the dude is a racer and you're a racer, don't come so close to the bomb. Don't touch that fuse because you can get hurt. And who wants to get hurt? Who wants to have a wrecked bike? Who wants to have a broken ankle? Who wants to not want to ride anymore? None of us. So be careful of the egos. Navigate your way around the bombs and the fuses. Be safe or be sorry. And nobody wants to be sorry. I'm Gogo for superduke.com, and I hope you get something out of this because I have.